Hi, I'm Niall from Gulfstream Boat Sales. This is a Botnia Targa 25. It's kind of the original explorer boat. They're known as the 4x4 of the sea. They have an enviable reputation for solid build quality and clever design. They're built in Finland. They've actually been in production largely unchanged since the early 1980s, right up until the present day. This one is a 1997 model, powered by a Volvo Penta 8041 200 horsepower diesel Sterndrive. And it's a really nice example of one of these Targa 25s. I'm a huge fan of these boats. We're going to walk you around this one now to show you the condition that it's in, show you all the features inside it, hopefully help you to figure out whether it might be the right boat for you, and demonstrate just why these things are so popular and have been over the years. So the Targa 25 is actually 27.5 feet overall length, including the swim platform, 25 foot hull length to the stern. It has a beam of 9 foot 5 inches. It's a big lumpy boat, category B rated. This one is sitting on our yard trailer. Actually, this is a yard trailer, so it's not going with the boat, but it actually sits quite nicely on there. So you could potentially put this thing on a trailer for storage or whatever over the winter. It's a local boat. It's been in the same ownership since March 2019. It's been in Northern Ireland since then as well. So it's a VAT paid boat in the UK, but in Northern Ireland since before Brexit means it's got freedom of movement throughout the island of Ireland. And it can be sold anywhere, north or south or back into England or wherever. All the paperwork is there. Super solid service history with it as well. It's come to our workshop. We've given a compound and polish and a real good valet and detail to leave her looking spick and span, ready for sale. So walking around the outside, the gel coat's in really good condition. Down along the starboard side here, you've got a big chunky PVC rub rail, real high prow on the boat, nice big flared bow. Look at this steel keel band as well, runs all the way in underneath her. All the way around this boat as you go through it, you can tell that there was a lot of money spent building this thing, and it was built to a very high standard. So that keel band goes all the way back there, protects the boat. If you're putting it onto a beach or something, we've given it a wee fresh coat of anti-foul and paint around the waterline just to clean it up, but it does need done back in there. That's the original paint in underneath the bottom of the hull. Not bad now to be by any stretch of the imagination, but needs redone before next season, that's for sure. Stainless steel anchor roller, bow rails up there, fair leads. We'll take a look at that stuff on the deck when we get up there. Anchor locker drain. The gel coat is in good condition. Few nicks and things out of the rub rail, but that's obviously there to protect the gel. Big chunky rub rail, which does a really good job at protecting the gel coat. We've got this funky deck drain for the forward deck. Looks nice and smart with a stainless steel grille, so you don't lose any bits and bobs overboard. There has been a previous gel coat repair done here. Now, it's really hard to see in real life. I think the camera actually shows it up a bit more. Very hard to see unless you're walking past it. I didn't even see it until I came into the showroom. But just a previous gel coat repair, really well done, nice and smooth, no ripples in it, just a very slight color difference from the original gel coat. I should point out as well, this is like a red gel coat stripe that has been covered over with a blue vinyl graphic. The blue vinyl is just starting to peel off in places. Obviously personal preference, you could either if you wanted to really clean it up, you could take that stripe off and sand and mop the red back, and you would have a nice bright red in gel stripe, or you could just replace it with another fresh navy blue vinyl. Other than that, it looks really good. Bow rails are good. You got the teak rails around the aft end of the cockpit, midships cleat there, all the way back here to the engine room vent is in good condition. Wee bit of the rub rail here on the swim platform has had a wee nick there at that corner, but I mean, for a 1997 boat, it's incredible that we're down to this level of detail whenever we're looking for flaws. Again, another wee mark here in the rub rail, but nothing major at all. Extended swim platform is great, adds 2 foot to the overall length. We've got teak treads, teak slats on it, which look really smart. There is an auxiliary outboard bracket with it as well, so if you want to put a little backup engine on there, you can. Nice stainless steel bracket, solidly mounted. We've got a folding 3-step stainless steel boarding ladder with teak treads and a nice wee teak handle here, another stainless steel handle up on the transom. So very smart looking across the transom as well. So let's take a look down along the port side. Again, the rub rail is in good condition. The gel coat looks great as well. Some minor wee scuffs if you're looking really hard, but I don't think the camera is going to pick them up. The overall condition is excellent. Like, there's no big lumps out of the gel coat or anything. We've got our deck drain down this side. Also, we do have a wee very light scratch here. You probably can't see it. Rub rail looks good down along this side as well. Handrails and everything are good. Looks like a tank vent there. Again, another sort of scratch in the, there is a bit of a scratch actually, runs down there and back up again. You can probably see it in the light, but it's not through the gel coat or anything. Engine room vent good here. Swim platform. Rub rail looks great on this side. Coming all the way back to the stern corner. Platform edge here is in good condition as well. And the whole bottom looks good also. As I said, needs fresh anti-fouling paint back here. So taking a look at a couple other bits and pieces at the back end. This center section of the swim platform can be hinged forward. This is very clever. So you can hinge that up to clear the prop. Say you snag a rope or something whenever you're underway. You don't have to go and try and hang over the back of the platform. You can easily get down with a rope cutter or something and clear your props if you snag a fishing line or something like that. So that's all good. Stainless steel hinges, bolts and everything are in good condition. Deck scuppers for the aft deck back here as well. Port and starboard side. So any water that finds its way on board will easily drain overboard. We've got the hull number tucked up here under the rail on this side as well, if you can see it. T25 for Targa 25, FI built in Finland, 97, 797, built in 1997 and 1997 model. So incredible that these things are still in production. Let's take a look below the waterline. You can see you've got a nice deep V carried all the way to the transom. So that's what gives this boat such a sea-kindly ride. Really does cut through choppy water with ease. Deep V hull all the way to the stern. The boat is fitted with a Volvo Penta 8041 6-cylinder diesel engine, and it's matched up to this dual-prop Sterndrive. These are a good drive. They've got a good reputation. The 8041 has a fantastic reputation as a solid motor as well, and this one is in very good order. There's an extensive service history with it, going back I think it almost starts from when the boat was new and runs right up to like 2022, I think, in the service records. So that's always a really good sign, number one. Number two, the condition of it is very good. So we have given the drive a fresh coat of anti-fouling paint just to clean it up, but it's in very good condition. Skeg's in good shape, props are in good order. The prop size is, will it tell us on here? A6R and A6F. I think I might have talked about this on the Sea Trail video. Anyway, A6 props, in good shape. Anodes could probably do with being replaced before the boat's launched next year. Transom anode looks a bit better than the prop tube anode. Seals and stuff are all look to be good on the trim rams. There's no oil or fluids there. The bellows are also in good condition. Seals are dry, bellows are in good shape, and there's no play, there's no huge amount of play in this drive either. It's nice and solid, it's not swinging in the wind like some of them are. So good drive and good condition as far as I can tell. Boat's fitted with trim tabs as well, stainless steel tabs, port and starboard. There's tab anodes on it. They could do with being replaced as well. Trim tabs are working. So everything below the waterline looks as good as the boat does above the water. With the swim platform extending to the full beam of the boat, it's very easy to board the boat from the jetty on either the port or starboard side. You could also hop over a rail up along the side decks, but you can hop on the swim platform. This center section of the rear rail folds open like this, and you can easily step over the transom then into the onto the aft deck. A couple of things back here. We've got big chunky aluminium cleats, port and starboard corners. We've got these rope cleats, which I think are for swinging a dinghy, securing a dinghy to the transom. There may well be more experienced or more knowledgeable Targa experts than me that know better than that, but that's my guess. You do have these D-rings on the swim platform, and you've got these with these carabiners, so I think it's for securing a dinghy to the transom. Not 100% sure, But anyway, I think it's a good guess. Another cleat over there, and then step into the aft deck. We've got little boxes in the corners back here, just storage boxes. The owner's got some spare fluids and stuff in this one. There's your deck scupper, so any water finds its way will drain out the back. You've also got the forward scuppers as well. What's in here? Spare bits and bobs, dock lines and things. All the tread surfaces on this boat are molded non-skid in grey. That was actually listed on the original invoice as an option that was specified. And I have seen some of the newer boats with little teak or flexi-teak pads on the seats, aft and forward, which would look really smart actually, and that wouldn't be a very expensive mod to do. It would really sort of freshen up the look of the deck. But anyway, it's all in good condition here. The deck feels nice and solid. There's no stress cracks or anything around it. Obviously these boats are super well screwed together from the factory, so everything looks well. Battery boxes boxes and isolator switches are in here under this locker. Now you can lock it, I just don't have it locked at the minute. You need a wee key to unlock it. We'll turn on our isolator switches here while we're here, get lights and things going. So 4 isolators. Batteries in there, they all look pretty recent as well. And the boat has been holding the charge while it's been here. It hasn't been plugged in the shore power or anything. The charge levels are good. Engine access is underneath here. We'll take a wee look at that now in a minute, but we'll go through the rest of the accommodation first, I think. So, exterior helm position here, one step up onto the sort of like a mini flybridge up there. Then we've got huge wide side decks down the starboard and the port side with sliding doors into the wheelhouse on both sides. So you can easily get on into the wheelhouse from either port or starboard side. And then nice big forward deck area here as well with this sort of seating area. Heads compartment in here, under deck storage, and access up to your anchor roller as well. So the flybridge area consists of 2 seats, one's for the helmsman and navigator. You got a helm station up here. We've got a radar arch goes over the top of it also. And a fairly basic helm, but it has all the essentials up here. So you got your hydraulic steering, you get your engine stop-start panel with warning buzzer. So if any of your instruments, obviously you've no instruments here, so you need the warning buzzer in case anything goes out of spec. You do have your little warning panel here as well. You got controls for the trim tabs up here, bow thruster controls, and you got a little Raymarine bi-data as well. And I think you probably turn that on from downstairs, I do believe. Just speed and depth log. Throttle and shift is here. Drive trim. I did drive the boat. We had this boat out on sea trial before it came to us, and I did drive the boat from up here, and it was all working well. So obviously great visibility from up here all the way around the boat. And on a nice day, if you want the wind in your hair, it's nice to get up here. Or if you're fishing and you just want a better visibility forward or whatever, good to have this second helm station. Passenger seat there, chart table there. There's a little window into the wheelhouse here as well. Now this window frame has been previously painted. The owner told me that there was a leak. He did have it resealed. There's no leaks anymore, but the paint work could probably do with a fresh touch up there as well. And you can slide that open from the inside for a bit of ventilation. Teak handle here also. Nice windscreen round there just to deflect the wind a wee bit. You've got horns up on the roof. You've got a deck ventilator, VHF aerial, searchlight, and a GPS antenna there as well. On the radar arch then, we've got our navigation lights. We've got a little deck light here. And this is an area for the mast. There is like a mast on this boat. It's actually removed to get the boat into our showroom here. It's lying on the trailer down there. I'll show you it before we finish up. But it secures to this bracket here. It's secured here, and it sort of will carry mast headlight. And it would have originally carried a radome, but there's no radome on this boat now. It's been removed at some point in the past, but there's a radar reflector, I think, was attached to it as well. but it's there. We have it all anyway, so you can reattach it. Big aluminium masthead that goes up quite high. So there you go. That is the flybridge, helm area, and the cabin roof. Gel coat and everything's in very nice condition. These guardrails back here come up to sort of thigh height, so you do feel quite safe whenever you're moving around the boat. They drop down further forward, but the deck also drops down. You've got loads of places to grab onto, or if you're standing back here, you can hang on to these stainless rails. You know, you can hang on to the handrail, so you can very safely make your way around the boat. There is a couple of little portholes giving you added natural light into the aft cabin area. You've got this little stainless steel bracket with wooden pad where you can hang your little outboard. You know, if you've got an outboard for your dinghy or whatever, you can hang it on here, and it keeps it upright and stored out of the way. We left the name on this boat because I think it's been on it from brand new, and the chances of getting the evidence of it out of the deck are minimal, but it looks quite smart actually. Suits the boat. We also left on this SSR number, and it's an extremely good SSR number, 123450. Whether it's the current owner doesn't have this, but whether you can get it back again for the boat, I don't know, but worth looking into it. Nice teak cap and rail on here. This is navy blue, matches the navy blue vinyl stripe on the hull as well, and the navy blue name. Looks very smart. And then all the timber around here looks really good. So before we go into the wheelhouse, we'll have a look up on the foredeck. So we got just storage underneath all these lockers. You got a gas bottle in here for your galley. That's your gas locker with isolation valve on it. This is, I think, just storage in here. We've got the shore power lead in here. We've got a bunch of fenders stored in here as well. So this is a huge, big, deep storage locker. We've got a manual handle for the winch there for the anchor windlass. Dock lines and stuff in there also. Okay, so that's your forward storage compartment. You can put a padlock on that to lock it as well if you like. This is access into the anchor locker. Again, more, well, that's just road actually. So tons of road, galvanized chain and line, and just a manual windlass on this one. So if you want a bit of help if you don't want to just pull it up by hand, you can slot your handle in there and spin the winch to draw your anchor into the chain locker. Everything's super chunky and solid up here. You got these big chunky aluminium cleats. You got these bow rails, so if you're boarding the boat over the bow, you can hang onto those. You got the fair leads for running your dock lines out through to keep them off the deck. What do we have here? Diesel fill point on this side, water fill point on this side. Everything's present and correct. There's no stress cracking or creation on the deck up here. It's all super solid as well. Stainless steel anchor roller with a, I don't know what size that anchor is. Looks like a 15 kilogram anchor on it as well. All these seat bases are all molded non-skid as well, so you can, you know, everywhere you set foot up here, you've got safe footing. As I said, some of the newer boats, I've seen them with teak or flex, you know, synthetic teak, flexi teak on these seat bases, which look really smart. Something we could do for you if you wanted. As I said, I don't think it would cost a whole lot, but it would really smarten the whole thing up. And then you've got your grey decks up here, contrast grey decks, all again molded non-skid. Underneath this locker is more storage, so just some more fenders and things in there. Another storage locker. All stainless steel hinges, clips and catches, everything's working, all feels super solid. Even the way that these handrails are through bolted here onto the, well, they're not through bolted, but they're bolted both sides, you know, that's never going to move. You know, if that was a cheaper boat, they would literally just have a wee bolt up through the middle, and if they catch a line or somebody swings too hard on it, you end up getting leaks and things like that. They move a wee bit. These ones, those are never going to move. It's completely solid all the way around, which is, again, it's easy to see as you go through this boat why they have the reputation that they do. This whole area drains in these scuppers, port and starboard, that we saw from outside. And that's what they look like from inside. Nice wee stainless steel grates on them. Pump out point here, so you can pump out your holding tank. Underneath, this is a little table position, so you can put a wee table in here if you're sitting up here having a picnic or something. And then this hatch lifts up to reveal bow thruster motor down there.
water tank in front of it, fresh water tank. This looks like your toilet tank with discharge at the bottom. That looks like a macerator pump of some description, or a toilet pump. Toilet pump, yes, so you can pump that into the tank and then empty the tank at the pump out point. That's your fresh water pump in there as well. All looks neat and tidy and clean. There you go, bit of maintenance access in there. And then we have access into our heads compartment up forward. You can lock this closed as well with that little latch. But that swings open and you got a step down in, 2 wee steps down into your heads compartment. That's pretty funky as well to have that on the boat, totally separate from the wheelhouse, proper bit of privacy, and there's a bit of room in there too, so you can step down in, little teak slats on the floor. There is a sink in here and a shower head, so you could shower in this compartment as well. And then it's an electric flush Jabsco toilet, so push button flush, which is good. Bit of antifreeze in the bottom of it there. So there you go. Bilge pump switch. So that's for emptying the compartment if you're showering in there. So your shower head pulls out and your little sink there as well. That's your toilet pump. Everything I put my hand to in this boat works. Little light fitting in here. And a wee, is that a wee opening porthole? Yeah, like a wee vent porthole thing. There's also a heater outlet in here as well. So you can heat this area as well as the wheelhouse. All looks good. Seal around the doors in good condition. The door itself's in good shape. Perfect little toilet compartment. Bit of storage, maintenance access in there as well. And what's this? Storage access to a sea cockpit, maybe toilet water in or something like that. Everything's easy to get to. So there you go, heads compartment. So the windscreen on the boat is single piece windscreen, reinforced plexiglass, pantograph wipers for clearing both sides of it. You get this handrail all the way around the front of the wheelhouse as well, so if you're making your way around the foredeck in a heavy sea, you've got somewhere to hang on to. But yeah, and it's got that, it's sort of that, you know, rear facing, rear sloping inwards, which gives it that iconic look, that iconic Targa shape. Looks really mean and purposeful. Looking at the roof up here, again, searchlight, GPS antenna, deck vent, VHF antenna. And then access into the wheelhouse is either through this sliding door. Both doors are sliding freely on the runners and locking. The locks and everything are working, so you can either go in through the port side or through the starboard side. Again, running freely. I might need to turn on my light to give you a better look around the wheelhouse, but see how we get on first of all without it. So teak flooring in here. Now there were mats on the floor. I think they're actually lying down there. There they are there. That was obviously done by the current owner said they were in the boat whenever he bought it. To try and protect the floor. They've probably done a good enough job, but they may have done as much harm as good. So there's like a previous coat of varnish over the top of the teak, which needs sort of, I would say this, if you wanted it perfect again, you'd need to sand it back and then maybe re-oil the teak or varnish it or whatever you want to do. But teak and holly floor in here looks the part, and then all the woodwork is in, you know, for a 1997 boat, very good condition. Wood paneling on the roof as well, which all looks good. There's no leaks or anything that I'm aware of in this boat at the moment, and you know, there's no current dampness or, you know, stains or any of that sort of stuff. So it all looks in very nice condition. Layout in here is fairly typical. I mean, this layout, you get this on the current Targa 25, you get it on things like Axopar 28 cabin boats and Sargo boats, and there's a whole plethora of boats that have now adopted this sort of style and layout in more recent years, but Targa 25 was the original one. So you get a helm seat over here, passenger seat, navigator seat here, This is a wee cover for the flybridge actually up top. This is a folding bench seat that folds down whenever you're underway, and you've got a little footrest here so your rear seat passengers can sit facing forward. That'll easily accommodate 3 adults, maybe 4 if you've got a couple of kids there. And then a step down into this aft cabin area with a fold down table and 2 full-size berths on port and starboard side, you know, if you want to spend the night on board. So that's the beauty of these boats. They are really good all-rounders. You can use them as explorer day boats. You can use them as like a commuter boat if you've got to, you know, you've got to go to sea no matter what the weather's doing. But similarly, as a family weekender, you can go away, you can swim off the back of it, you can have tons of room for storing all your gear on board, and you can even spend the night as well. And with the toilet and shower compartment up forward, you know, you can be sort of self-sufficient on the water for 2 or 3 days at a time. So we've already had this boat out for a sea trial, and there's a separate sea trial video on the website. If you go to the Targa 25 listing page, you can see our sea trial video where we put the boat, run the boat through its paces on the river. So I'm not going to really talk about the instruments or anything now again, because you can check it all out then. We went through everything on it. I'll just run you through a few other bits and pieces in the galley and stuff that we didn't cover in the sea trial video, but it does run very well, even with the 200 horsepower engine. She gets up on plane pretty quickly, and she had a dirty bottom then as well as before. She'd been in the water all season, so fresh coat of anti-fouling paint to start of next year. She should be a wee bit sharper, but she ran fine, you know. And top end is going to be sort of, was it 25, 26 knots, so you could expect another couple of knots with a clean bottom as well. But everything was working on it, which was the good thing. Okay, so I've turned the flash on to give you a bit of a better look in here, but bear in mind that, you know, it can be a bit harsh sometimes with the flash on the camera. But anyway, I think we ran through all the instruments. What I am going to do is going to leave this on for the rest of the video to see does this little hour clock display begin to show properly. But the owner is conscious that, you know, most Volvo owners do know that these things come and go. You can see it sort of flickering, it's trying to work there. The owner, the last day he saw it working, took a photograph and sent it to me, and it was 972 hours on the clock at that time. So he estimates around about 980 or so on it at the moment, but hopefully it'll come back to life at some point. You know, we've got you can turn your fridge off and on, your nav lights off and on, your anchor light, fresh water pump, that looks like a spare, instrument lights, screen demister, which is this boy here. So he's a 2-speed demister that's working. You've got your circuit breakers here, so you don't have to go searching for fuses if anything's not working. This is your autopilot system. I have no experience with that and didn't try it. You got your bow thruster switch here as well. Trim tab switch is all working. Trim gauge. We looked at all that stuff on the sea trail, so we'll not go through it again. Ray Marine chart plotter and radar, but the radome is removed, so the radar's not going to be working. Garmin fish finder, auto helm buy data, all that stuff was all working as well. Searchlight, let's see, does that work? These look like spares, and the work light is the one at the back. Just to check, are they working? Yeah, look at that, searchlight's working. Nav lights are working, and work light is not working. I think that's the work light. Might need a bulb or something. So there you go. That's like the first thing I've come across that's not working. Circuit breakers for that stuff. 12-volt power socket up there. VHF radio here. ICOM ICM58 with a proper old school handset here. Your transmit button on it. That's pretty cool as well. I like that. Targa builder's plate with the serial number 1997 236 matches the hull number on the transom. And then we get into sort of the clever design bits where they've crammed a serious amount of equipment and usable gear into such a small space. That does interfere with the VHF receiver a wee bit, but you flip that up and reveals a twin ring gas hob and sink. Runs off your fresh water system. So you can boil a kettle here, you can prepare a small meal, get your controls, you get your gas bottle living in the locker out there. You get these stainless steel plates that protect the lid whenever it's closed down if the ring's still warm. Looks like it has seen very little use, to be fair. I mean, 980 hours of use over, you know, what is it, 25 years is not a lot. So this boat has not been extensively used, that's for sure. The wee stainless steel splashback there as well, so that's all really neat. Handrail, wooden handrail across here. You get these little manual locks for securing the doors whenever they're slid closed, so the doors aren't going to slide around if you're out in a heavy sea. What else do we have then? We've got 240 volt sockets, shore power system on this boat. You get a power inverter as well, a little what's that, a power inverter monitor. So yeah, I think you turn the inverter on back here, as far as I know. Might have to fiddle around with that a wee bit, but I think the inverter does work. The owner was telling me about it. In this cupboard here, you've got your shore power system breakers, so 240 volt breakers, box of gizmos for the autopilot system, and then in here we've got keys and things, winch handles, just a bit of storage. Everything looks very, you know, good, and behind the scenes there's no leaks or anything untoward. You've got a fire extinguisher down in there, fire blanket in there. This is the, what is this? This is the power inverter and battery charger. Oh yeah, we have to be plugged into shore power. That's the key here. So that little boy hole will only work whenever you're plugged into shore power. So yeah, but that looks fairly recent. That looks like a pretty new battery charger inverter system, which is good. And then what do we have back here? Under the helm seat. The helm seat is fixed. Yes, it's a fixed helm seat. Slides fore and aft. So you can adjust the helm seat fore and aft. You've got a fridge underneath here. Fridge is running. Lights coming on. Wee bit lazy, but it is working. Was working. I shouldn't have done that. Anyway, the light was working. That'll probably start working again. Fridge is running. You can hear it going there, which is good. Close that up. It teaches me to fiddle about with things. And then underneath this cupboard, or this chair, sorry, we have a microwave. This was a cupboard, but there's a microwave in there, and there's the power inverter as well. So you can get 240 volt from the batteries with this little bad boy. So if you want 240 volt whenever you're not plugged in the shore power, you can turn that on and get 240 volt to run. What size is that actually? It's okay, that's an 1800 watt inverter, so it's a fairly beefy one, so it probably will, I don't know if it'll quite run that microwave, probably won't, but it might boil a little camping kettle or something. It'll certainly run laptop chargers and phone chargers and all that type of stuff. So you got that inverter, and you can turn that off and on here, I believe. That's the cover for the upper helm, and then this seat does fold forward, and that doesn't lift up either. It just slides fore and aft, I think. I don't know why I thought they lifted up. Anyway, they slide fore and aft, and you can fold them down if you want. We have a storage locker onto the floor here. It's not really storage, it's more maintenance access, giving you access to the fuel tank. That's the diesel tank, fuel level sender, isolation valves for diesel supply and return. There's no smell of diesel here at all, which is obviously a bonus and very good. That's a heater pipe running across that. Everything looks nice and clean and tidy in there, like the rest of the boat. Let's see if we can see where the heater is. Haven't found the actual heater yet. Tucked in, there's more heater hoses there. Anyway, there is a heater somewhere on board. There's also a heater control panel, which I have yet to find. So that's storage in there. Apologies if it's a bit in depth this, but the purpose behind these videos is I really try and sicken you with details so you know exactly what you're coming to see, so you don't waste your time, don't waste our time. You know, if you're interested in the boat, you've got a almost as good a look around it as you would have if you were in person. That's the idea behind the videos, and that's why I'm going into all the lockers like this. So moving further aft in the wheelhouse then, we have a couple of steps down. Whilst the bench seat is up out of the way, I'm going to put that down in a minute, but whilst it's up, this is how you access the aft area. Now this is just an inlay carpet. It's a bit grubby, you can probably see it. It's noticeable in the photographs as well, but it's literally just a square of carpet. It would cost about 20 quid to replace this. So I didn't get too excited about it, but you can pull it back. You can see it's all lined fiberglass underneath, which is all in good condition. This is just access into the bilge. That's the depth sounder. Nice dry bilges in this thing as well. That's the transducer for one of the depth sounders. We also have 2 heater outlets back here, both sides. So I'm sure with the heater going in this cabin, you know, you'd be put out by the heat in a very short period of time because it's not that big an area. This lifts up and you got a battery box in there and another depth transducer beside the battery box as well. So that's obviously for, one of those will be probably for the Garmin and one will be for the bi-data units. So that's the access to the fuel tank there again. Again, nice teak and holly step there. Storage in here, 240 volt sockets there. Storage in there. All in nice condition as well. What else do we have back here? This lifts up. Not entirely sure if this also lifts up. These must, I'm not entirely sure. I think they probably lift up. I think you can probably make this up into double bed actually. Just looking at this, they look like they lift up and hinge forward and sit on here. And this one probably does the same, which will make this up into like maybe a double bed possibly. But it goes all the way up there anyway, and it goes all the way back there. So it's 2 big singles for sure, and possibly a central double. That's a step for something. That's the table for the foredeck and the table leg. So that's the table for up forward. These are cushions for the seats on the flybridge. But everything in here looks good. The headliner looks good. You know, again, no evidence of any leaks or anything. Open and port lights back here. You do a full, just about standing headroom here. I just have just about standing headroom. Overhead light. This little table then folds down. Oh, just have to pop that up. It folds down like this, and you can sit around this table. You can get 4 people sitting back here. Storage but in behind it as well. Little mosquito screen for the portholes. And again, all the joinery works all in nice condition. Really cleverly thought out boat, this thing. And by the time this one was built in the late 90s, they'd already been building these things for almost 20 years, so they knew what they were doing. Circuit breakers for bilge pumps and extra bits and bobs back here also. So there you go, that is the aft cabin area. Fire extinguishers, microwave oven. Looks like a fairly recent addition, that one. And yeah, nice aft cabin. And then this is the bench seat folded down at the aft end of the wheelhouse. So it's just held up with these 2 stainless clips. Folds down very easily, 2 seconds, folds it down. And then you can fold these seats forward for, you know, letting your passengers get onto the seat. As I said, you get the wee footrests there. And I think that wee, let me go and grab this actually. 2 seconds. There we go, by the magic of video. This has magically appeared, and this is a footrest for your middle seat passenger. That was actually the wee step that was stored down the bed there. So you've got elevated footrests for all your rear seat passengers. 3 adults will fit here, no problem. 4 kids, and then even with the seats, well, obviously you can adjust these seats forward, but even whenever you're, you know, this is more or less all the way back, you've still just about got comfortable leg room here. But if the seat was forward, you have a bit more room for your knees, and you'd be perfect. That one has been, the footroom there has been occupied by fire extinguishers, but other than that, it's good. There's my line of sight, so you can see straight out all the way around the boat. Good visibility and proper seating in the warm and dry in any weather for 5 or 6 passengers. There's loads of handrails around here as well. Handrails here, handrails up forward. There's handrails on both sides of that door there. So you get somewhere to hang on to no matter where you're sitting. Coat hooks back here. You can slide this window open as well. I might not muck around with that one because there was a previous leak here. See here? but the owner said it's all been sealed up and doesn't leak anymore, but maybe just not muck around with that wee window just in case. But I mean, it's very it's like I always say this, but it is like a boaty boat, you know, all the timber work in here, the teak and holly floor, you know, the purposeful design. It feels just, and it's so nice in the water, this boat as well. It runs really smooth, just feels very assured on the water as well. I love these things. They're really nice boat, and even though it's 25 years old, I still think, because it's still the same shape in production to this day, you know, people aren't really going to be looking down their nose at you. You're going to be in a proper, anybody who knows anything knows how good these things are. So it really will hold its own against much more modern competition in my view. But great little wheelhouse in here, very cleverly designed, proper go anywhere explorer boat that you could spend a weekend on, you know, for a couple or maybe a small family in comfort as well. Okay, let's take a look at the engine bay. Access is very straightforward. Just lift the hatch at the back. Could do with some way of clipping that up actually, but I'll just have to hold on to it for now. But anyway, here we go. Volvo Penta AD41, 6-cylinder diesel. These things are a fairly they're a very robust engine. They're not particularly sophisticated, just a common, not, you know, they're just a standard diesel injection pump, no electronics on them, which in my view and experience, that's what you want as these things get older. You don't want anything that you need a computer and you got to pay a technician £100 an hour to come and look at anytime it goes wrong. But it's a good engine. They do have a very good reputation. Lightly stressed as well, you know, at 200 horsepower is not a big power output for a unit of this size, and this one has been well maintained. There's good service history with it. It's running well. It starts on the button. It performed well on the C12 for us also, and I said the service history is in the file, so you can check that out for yourself. We welcome any inspection. You get your fuel pre-filter there. You've got a little engine light. I don't know if that works. We've got what's that? Pipes running to a calorifier by the looks of things there for heating water. Let me see, does this work? No, bulb's not working in that wee light, but that would be easy enough fixed. Auto fire extinguisher, coolant level, engine oil level, power trim fluid level back there as well. That's your, that little boy down there, the wee black boy, is a sensor for the autopilot steering input. Throttle shift controls, power steering. Pulley's a wee bit rusty on the power steering pump, but not too bad. That's your impeller in there and raw water strainer. Pulleys look okay down there. Bilge pump with automatic float, heat exchanger. Definitely a tidy engine bay for a boat of its age, and as I said, starting on the button, running well. Filters look pretty clean and fresh also. So there you go, that is the engine bay and your Volvo Penta AD41. Another benefit of that engine is it's going to sip fuel. Fuel consumption in this boat's going to be fantastic, fuel economy. Definitely won't be hard to run, that's for sure. This is the mast that I was talking about earlier, the aluminium mast that mounts at the aft end of the wheelhouse and is secured to the radar arch. So just to show you what it looks like, you got masthead lights, steaming lights on it, a position for mounting the radome as well if you want to retrofit a radome or fit a new one for new electronics. And it's all there, it's all wired, it's all working. It's just removed because we needed to reduce the height to get the boat into the showroom. So it's included. So there you go, that's our 1997 Botnia Targa 25 with the Volvo Penta AD41, 200 horsepower diesel engine with about 980 hours in the clock. Hopefully it's apparent from watching the video that the boat is in exceptionally good condition for its age. You know, really easy to see why these boats are still in production to this day. Very high build quality. You can tell why they are considered to be a cut above the rest, because in my opinion they are. They're a super nice boat. I really like this one. I think it is good, mechanically solid,
good service history, starting on the button, it's running well, as you can see from the sea trail video as well, if you check out that separate sea trail video if you haven't already. And yeah, it's hard to fault this boat, but if you are keen, if you want to come and arrange to view it, you're more than welcome. If you want to arrange a sea trail or a survey, please don't hesitate to get in touch. If you want to talk about transport or the logistics of getting the boat to your home marina, please be in touch. We can help with that as well. We can also look at part exchanges and all sorts of stuff. Our objective is to try and make the buying process as easy for you as possible. So any questions you might have, please don't hesitate to send them across. The best way to get me is by phone on the contact number at the top of our webpage, or you can send me an email to sales@gulfstreamshop.com, or you can follow the callback request form on this page of our website, and I'll contact you at a time that's convenient. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch the video. I hope you find it useful.